Yo, at this point, to see if it's Mappa or not, we're Zombie Grubs cast this too, right? What's going on in her stream? Oh, she's also stuck in limbo. So we're all just waiting for somebody to drop out of this game. Oh, it was Yogo. It was the god French Sacre Bleu. Okay, Le France. Guys, Mapu, I love it. Bottom left, it's TY. Top right is the Chinese player Time. TY, of course, Korean Terran badass. I don't feel like I really need to talk him up, but was definitely the hype and the talk of the town. Him and Solar and Stats, when they were on Splice together, felt like the sickest combo of players you could have for a team in StarCraft. And while we didn't get to see TY compete in every event, I always tried to reach out to him because he was very, very actually super pleasant to speak with. He had very poor English and would oftentimes ask his teammates to translate for him, but I've only got really positive things to say about TY. Same with Time, of course, but this goes right back to rewinding like 3 or something years ago, where we held a map tournament, a balance test tournament, and Time versus TY were trying out the brand new maps, I think it was at the time. And Time defeated TY, and not like, okay, he barely pulled off a victory. Like, it was really handily handled, and that was the first time I really had interactions with this Chinese player and thought, damn, this guy's good. And since then, obviously being in China, the Chinese leagues are a bit off limits and different from the rest of the regular tournament circuit, so we don't get to see Time too often. But I'm very pleased to see that in the qualifiers so far, he's been a badass. So I'm sorry, TY, as much as I would like to root for you, we've been following Time all day. He has become my local hometown hero in that regard. But yeah, fun fact for those who don't know, just to give you some context for the Chinese players, I've talked to them a couple times in the past, and they have likened playing to the Korean server as not good. Like, it's not like, okay, China's right there, so there's no lag. You know, playing to Korea for them is the same as like Koreans trying to play to Europe. It's just not great. But he's persevering and he's playing through very well. Also, if you've never looked on the Battle.net launcher, there's actually no way to pull up the Chinese server. That's just not a thing. It's segmented and on its own. And I've done some casting on the Chinese server before, but it really requires doing like some VPN workaround BS, and you have to modify some region data within StarCraft itself. It's a whole thing. So like, you just really, especially with us, with our tournaments and our channel, we don't see Chinese players too often. But I'm really glad that the few times we do, like example here with Time, they're kicking ass. Yeah, 2 Reapers to 1. There's no way he can take that fight. Not now, but is Eunice Rally over? Maybe. The biggest question for me about this series, though, will not actually lie in which of them is the better TvT player. It's actually a question of how many Ravens get used, because I swear we're coming to the end of the Raven meta, and we're not seeing them used as frequently, but we are still seeing them used often. And I guess I'll save my commentary on that for a little bit. TY takes an excellent defense fight, pushes off Time very handily, actually. What do you mean, Master Fu? Master Fu 678. He says nothing on the Chinese server is on the main BNet server. Oh yeah, you can't connect to anything. Yeah. Sorry, now I understand what you mean. Actually, I know Time has actually spent a fair amount of his practice in Korea. I wonder if he's actually in Korea for these qualifiers, because I do know that in the past he has flown over to Korea to compete in Korean qualifiers for better ping. I might not actually be playing from China, but my question for that goes, of course, around the whole Corona and COVID situation. Would he have even been able to fly over? I don't know which countries are still on lockdown, frankly, and which ones are and are not allowed to fly. Ooh, I'm doing a little bit of talking while there's quite a bit of action. TY gets there and guts out a couple units, but does get out mostly intact. Oh my god, both players disengaged with like 1 HP on the Hellion and 1 HP on the Reaper. Chinese players can play in the Korean qualifier. No, no one was questioning that. It's just a matter of like whether he went to Korea to play or not, right? Because obviously China to Korea would be a ping disadvantage. I'm gonna see if I can get Mapu to ask him about that when we're between games, maybe, because it would be really interesting to see. But that's the thing, Dr. Cashew, like a lot of the world's all over the place with lockdowns, right? Like some places are locked down to certain countries while others are not. Some places are recovering from the COVID situation better than others, like Korea. So I don't actually know what the rules and regulations are right now. But anyways, we do have Ravens coming out. Getting back to the game, speculate players and their physical location later. We do have Ravens coming out and a couple Vikings to follow this up. So in a lot of these games, TvT, whether it's mech, whether it's buyout, no matter what the opening is, it does kind of end up oh, that's a cool looking Raven, by the way. Going to the air battle later on. Vikings become incredibly essential when that's the case. And frankly, well, they might not serve too great of a purpose right now. They will push off the medevac, which will deny high ground vision. Interference matrix on a tank locks this defense down, and time is fully denied his front attack. This one's a little bit more rough though. Oh, I've just realized I'm not using Game Heart for this game, so it may be a little bit difficult to show you guys everything that's going on. But with the Vikings already out, quickly deals with this, loses a little bit of mining time, but ultimately not too bad. So okay poke out of time so far, but nothing crazy's really gone out. Time is in China and Beijing. Southampton, my question for that is, do you know if he's there right now for this qualifier? I know where he's from, but I'm wondering if that's where he's playing from today. It's really not a big deal. It's just a curiosity point, but this Viking landed can kill the Cyclone. I'm surprised he walks away from it. I guess worried about the Marines. Goes for this full repair. All right, things got a little bit more hairy for TY than I expected there, but he does hold on once again, and TY's attacks are continuously, or excuse me, Time's attacks are continuously thwarted. It is at the cost of 14 SCVs, but look at the resources lost for Time. Was this worth it? I think in a few minutes we could justifiably say yes, but if he loses too many units to the counterattack, then certainly not. The best Terran in TvT? I think Cure. Actually, I wouldn't say Innovation. I wouldn't say any of these big names. I think Cure is my favorite TvT player in the world. Now these Vikings are doing such a good job zoning it out. Now look, that Liberator's going to push back the tanks, and as those tanks fall back, TY advances forward. And because there's no Vikings to counter this Liberator, he just gets the freedom to push off the tanks, getting his positioning in this matchup. Now Vikings spawn, of course, but auto turrets will be the biggest threat to them. As long as that Liberator lives, he controls the tanks. TY's in such a great spot right now. This is actually pretty devastating for Time. In fact, he's gonna lose another siege tank here. Probably third shot. Yeah. No siege tanks pretty much remaining. GG taps out, and looks like Time's aggression was super not worth it after all. TY takes game number 1. Top right, TY. Bottom left, Chinese Terran. Time. 90 kilograms. Oh wow, you're really moving some big stuff, dude. Actually, it's really funny to consider that though, because when you think about what a siege tank is and does, oh, he's gonna go for proxies. When you think about what a siege tank is and does, it's limited by where it can shoot because it has to be precise, because it's explosive, yet unbounded because it does friendly fire. Whereas if you actually just set up some kind of space trebuchet, kind of akin to Mengsk's orbital cannons from co-op mode, you can just like hurl rocks, dude. Like, and I'm sorry, I don't care how good a Zealot is at taking bullets. If a boulder crushes a Zealot, those shields aren't stopping jack squat. So actually, at the end of the day, we have to wonder, have we come too far with technology? Because I think similar to the Ewoks defending the forests of Endor against the Stormtroopers, basic traps and technology would probably be very effective when you think about it. I've watched so many of your YouTube videos. I wanted to pause the stream and grab a drink. I'm sorry, you can't do that. This is the one drawback to being live, I guess. Although I suppose we do have our VODs open in public, so you could theoretically just go up, get a drink, and then resume watching from the VOD. So you catch up. Hurling rocks was the new technology of Starship Troopers that used the bug plasma. Yeah, I know, dude. Basically, Starship Troopers is basically Corrosive Biles, right? Anyways, look, I mentioned the proxies. Let's talk about the type of proxy, right? This does come with gas, and this has been mostly scouted. Time, he does have his own second rack set up, and he built this before seeing versus not seeing anything go into play. So I think this will be a huge revelation for TY when he brings his Reapers in, expects to outgun Time 2-1, and finds out that he's actually going to get destroyed by the high ground initial shot that Time should get to win this fight. And here comes the bunker too. This is supposed to be a surprise. So that's why he pulls them back. He wants to beat the Reapers up to the high ground so he can chase them on the way out. Wins the initial shot here. Gonna lose the second one if he's not careful. Nope, gets it out alive. But then the new Reaper comes in. Marines are on the way. The bunker's nearly finished up. This has not been the cleanest hold of all time, but it does end up working because he scouted and because, well, frankly, he was already doing this. So the stars align for time in this game, and he stops this from TY. And TY shot himself in the foot to make this happen. He's all in. If you guys aren't aware of how this works, if you're not quite sure how this build goes, and with 12 workers on the field, there's pretty much no way to really recover from this. Is that time? Do we play the button? I think we do. That being said, though, if TY can snowball this, time will fall out of this. However, I just feel like this has already been so well defended, and this has been so well deflected. Those 12 workers on the other side of the map are what are going to determine this game, not the Reaper count. Yep, GG. Time ties it up once again. Man, the story of time in this qualifier has been incredible because it's just a constant battle of going down one in the first game versus every opponent he's had so far today, and then bouncing right back. It's game number 3. Welcome back. We continue on with the TSL qualifiers for Korea. This is the semifinals, and of course, to the bottom right, red Terran, Korean Terran, TY. Top left, his opponent, the blue Terran, Chinese Terran. It is time. How much did you put into that bong, though? I can't smoke right now, dudes. With this whole lung problem I've been having the last 3 days, I have not been able to smoke. And while I'm not like an addict who's like fiending for his next hit, it has been like, man, I kind of wish I was stoned right now. Never for a broadcast. We've only brought Stone Rifkin out for a very few of these streams. But yeah, with my lung problems right now, I can't. It's been a real bummer. Sadly, what you are hearing is the insanity of a sober man who just has ADHD. Sparkling or normal water? Dude, I don't... Sparkling water is such a European thing. I don't know. I can't stand it. The fizzy water, blech. Somehow it just tastes worse to me. Give me some nice flat water. I'm gonna chug that bottle, boy. Yes, I'm very aware edibles exist, Terotex. Thank you. You know what? You've saved my life because I sat here thinking the only way to possibly get high would be to smoke, but no, you've lo and behold opened mine eyes, and now I shall leave the stream to venture out into the world at 2:30 a.m. and procure some edible treatments. Shush. Okay, so time has done the 2 racks again, and he's done this in a really clever way that if TY had just poked in barely to scout, oh my god, he doesn't see it. Oh my god, he doesn't see it. This looks like it's 2 racks proxy. He's got to go a little deeper. He's got to see this. Boom. No mind games. Okay, just to be clear, a good Terran player would have left the base and started playing very defensive at home. A great Terran player confirms the scout, and that's what makes TY such a good, just cut above the rest. Because he would have had to react very differently. He would have taken his command center much later, or excuse me, earlier, and he would have just been overwhelmed by the 2 racks. But now he can get his factory up, and now he can avoid building a reactor and being greedy and getting punished for this. So that second dip in with the SCV was actually a game-saving moment. It sucks because it's not very hype. You can't really go, oh my god, the second scout is wild. But it is the difference of TY possibly losing this game or not. So bravo on the decision to go back in. Sorry, I missed this question earlier. Involuble asks, hey, I've been away from the StarCraft scene for a minute, but I missed the cheese too much. Any recommendations on a VOD to watch some extra cheesy gameplay? Honestly, parting games in general versus Zerg during the IEM Katowice qualifiers in particular. I know I casted some. I know some other people casted some. There was some like top-notch cheese out of partying in almost every single one of his games. So you can't go wrong if you're looking for cheese. People were like, let's improve water, and they added bubbles and thought they were smart. You can't improve water. Yeah, penguin for the win. You know exactly what you're talking about. The only thing that improves water, in my opinion, is the temperature of the water, okay? Like, I don't want any of that kind of like a little bit too warm bullshit, and I'm not a fan of lukewarm or room temperature. You give me an ice cold glass of water, and I will take that over any kind of champagne, any kind of soda. Fantastic. Grathland says PSA, casted is not a word. Cast is an irregular verb. Wow, dude, that's so crazy. It's almost like we live in an age where colloquial language changes the way we normally know language. So things like staycation end up in the Oxford Dictionary instead of just random words we use to describe a vacation we stay at home with. Thank you for letting me know. Casted isn't a word. I'll make sure to tell 8 years ago. For those who don't know sarcasm, that was a lot of sarcasm. 3 Hellions lifted in this medevac and a hell of a lot of Reapers. We knew Time was going to commit to this, but it's interesting the way he didn't all in with this. And the fact that this comes at a much later timing should be worse, but it works out because TY has also moved out. So in this race against Time, literally for TY, I don't think he wins the base race in this sort of trade out scenario. The Hellions are going to be way too much. The Reapers are insane damage. I mean, he'll get some damage done for sure. Don't get me wrong. Look over here. There's nothing to defend with. But in a race, Hellions kill things much slower than Reapers kill things. And are you kidding me? Time is about to obliterate all the workers. Oh my God. TY gets up here, right? And he's going to try to kill a lot of SCVs too. So if he does it, he just loses. So in Hellions, he kills workers faster. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to building versus building, Reapers are better. Oh, he splits the Widow Mine. Banshee holds 2. I guess there's nothing to shoot up. But TY's left with 1 worker and Time is left with 5. No, 4. Fuels have already been dropped. Banshee's camping everything. This is such a reset game for both sides. You know, they both have really good production structures and they both have 2 bases. But I think at the end of the day, TY's Banshee does eventually kill all of Time's units, whereas Time does not eventually kill the Banshee. This is the wildest scenario of all time. I've never seen it play out quite like this. A Viking coming out is going to seal the deal on TY's recovery. And look at it. He's picking up in the medevac to juke the shots. He's actually insane, dudes. Look at that. Every single Banshee shot is getting denied by some sick micro. But of course, here comes the Viking. So this will put an end to it. 1 worker to 2, but 19 army supply to 8. I don't know how to call a game like this. This is actually incredible. Oh, this Banshee helps catch the remaining Reapers too, so no running away. Yo, who was the guy who just asked for some insane cheese games? Where are you at? You still watching? I hope you didn't leave because this is the game you were looking for, bro. This is the game you were asking for. 31 dead SCVs on each side of the field. I think, okay, this is where it gets interesting. The scan, see the Banshee, but the Banshee cannot run the scan. At some point, if he has to burn too many scans catching the Banshee, he won't have the mules, right? So he won't have the money. But this is like Time's big blitz move. He wants to win the game with this. He knows TY doesn't have much because both players are broke. Does TY have anything to defend with right now? He's got 1 Banshee left over. Cloaks that one in. Goes for the Cyclone immediately. This is a really good call. Because his Marines might trade out mono and mono, but I think there's no scans left for Time due to the limited money because everyone needs mules. Wait a minute. I think TY's got this. Look at the micro on the Banshee. Trades out well enough that Viking's going to land. Standard game. Yep. Thank you, Mapu. This is insane. It is 5 workers to 2. Mules are being dropped. And that's where I think this is more important for TY to note because Time couldn't afford the mules. He burned the scans on the Banshees. Oh my, this is mass repairing each other. Snipes the Marine. Snipe the Marine? I don't know if you can deal with the Reaper. This is so stupid. I love it. Both players have just been absolutely devastated this game. I can't make heads or tails about where this goes for victory, but I think I still favor TY. He's got more workers mining. Yes, he's losing a lot to the Reaper, but if at any point he gets enough money to build a Hellion, this is on lockdown. Oh, he taps out. What? Oh, because he doesn't know. He doesn't fucking know, guys. GG. Oh no. Okay. Well, that's Time again, clutching victory from the jaws of defeat.